You know that feeling butterflies in your stomach when you get nervous or when you have a gut feeling about something that just feels right? Well, it turns out those aren't just old sayings. They actually point to a super deep biological connection that we're only now starting to really get. So let's dive into this amazing world and uncover the incredible link between what's happening in your gut and what's going on in your brain. So let's just kick things off with a huge question. Is it possible that your gut is actually your second brain? I know, it sounds a little bit like science fiction, right? But the science behind it is pretty wild. We're going to explore how this kind of hidden intelligence center in your body is influencing, well, pretty much everything from your mood to your overall health. And to really understand this, we need to talk about a system called the gut-brain axis. The best way to think of it is like a hidden, super fast communication network that's running inside you 24/7 without you even knowing it. Now, the most important word here is bidirectional. This is not a one-way street where your brain is just bossing your gut around. Nope, the gut-brain axis is a constant two-way conversation. Information is flowing from your brain down to your gut, and crucially from your gut right back up to your brain. And this is exactly why we call it a second brain. I mean, check out this number. Your gut is home to somewhere between 200 and 600 million neurons. Let that sink in. That is a massive amount of brain power, and it really shows just how complex and powerful this system is. So here's the kicker. This network of neurons is so sophisticated that it can actually operate semi-independently from the brain in your head. It's constantly chatting with the trillions of microbes and immune cells that live in your gut. And all of that together forms the very foundation of this gut-brain axis. So how does this conversation actually work? How do they talk to each other? Well, it's not just one single channel. It's a really complex dialogue that uses some of the body's most important systems to get the message across. This whole communication network really relies on three main players working together: your nervous system, your endocrine system, and your immune system. Each one has a totally unique and absolutely vital role to play. First up, the nervous system. The absolute rock star here is something called the vagus nerve. You can literally think of it like a physical superhighway, a direct fiber optic cable that sends signals flying in both directions between the brain and the gut, telling each other about everything from inflammation to whether or not you're full. Okay, next we have the endocrine system. This is all about chemical messengers, also known as hormones. Your gut, for example, releases hormones that travel all the way up to your brain to say, hey, we're full down here. Meanwhile, your brain releases stress hormones that can immediately affect your digestion. It's this incredibly delicate chemical dance. And finally, the immune system. Your gut is a huge hub for your body's immune activity, so immune cells that live in the gut can send out signals that travel all the way to the brain, and these signals can influence inflammation not just in the gut, but all throughout your entire body. Okay, so this all sounds like a pretty well-oiled machine when it's working right. But what happens when those lines of communication get staticky or even break down completely? Well, the consequences can be pretty serious and really wide-ranging. The science is becoming incredibly clear on this. When the gut-brain axis isn't working properly, you might hear this called dysbiosis. It's been linked to a whole list of chronic diseases. And we're not just talking about an upset stomach here. Let's take cardiovascular disease. Studies have shown that certain types of harmful bacteria in the gut are directly connected to things like atherosclerosis, that's the hardening of your arteries, and high blood pressure. Or how about type 2 diabetes? The gut-brain axis is absolutely essential for controlling our blood sugar. So when that communication gets disrupted, the body can really struggle to manage glucose, which can lead to high blood sugar and insulin resistance. You know, the same exact idea applies to managing our weights. Your brain depends on these signals from your gut to balance your energy. If those signals are off, your body might take in way more energy than it actually needs, and it stores the extra as fat, which can lead to obesity. And for conditions like IBS, the issue can actually be that the pain signals are getting amplified. Basically, the neurons in the gut are overreacting, and they turn normal digestive processes into experiences of pain and major discomfort. It's a direct result of that communication going haywire. And this might be the most shocking connection of all. This link reaches all the way up into our cognitive health. Chronic inflammation that starts in the gut can actually weaken the protective barrier around our brain. This can let inflammation spread into the brain itself, which is a huge factor in neurodegeneration and conditions like Alzheimer's. And that brings us to what is maybe one of the most groundbreaking and honestly mind-blowing parts of all this research: the direct and incredibly powerful influence that your gut has on your mental and emotional well-being. All right, get ready for this number because it is a big one. A staggering 95% of your body's total serotonin, the famous feel-good neurotransmitter, is produced not in your brain, but in your gut. Just think about that for a second. 95%. And this quote just connects all the dots perfectly. If your gut is inflamed or the microbiome is out of balance, its ability to produce and signal with that serotonin can get seriously disrupted. And the direct result of that, it can be a major contributor to low mood and other emotional imbalances. And the scientific evidence for this is getting stronger every single day. Imbalances in the gut are now being linked to a whole range of mental and neurological conditions, schizophrenia, and even autism spectrum disorder. Okay, I know that was a ton of information. We've covered a lot of ground. So what are the most important things to really remember from all this? Let's boil it all down. Here are the 3 crucial takeaways. First, your gut and your brain are always talking. What you feel in your head can affect your stomach, and the health of your gut can absolutely shape your mood. Second, an unhealthy gut can have effects all over your body, impacting everything from brain fog to your heart health. And third, the gut is a massive player in mental health. Taking care of your gut isn't just it's about supporting your brain. So let's end right where we started, but now with a whole new perspective. The next time you get a gut feeling, you'll know that what you're really doing is listening to your second brain. And that leaves us with a really powerful question to think about. Knowing all of this, what is your gut telling your brain today? And how can you start to listen just a little more closely?